JJ, Boston averages about 118 per game. Tonight you hold them under 100. What did you see defensively consistently throughout the evening?
I thought that was one of, if not our best games in terms of executing our defensive game plan, not overreacting to Porzingis making a few turnaround jumpers. Again, like I said pregame, you have to be willing to live with stuff.
Well, the statement is clear. Victory. No matter how we analyze it, it was a fantastic team win for the Lakers. They showcased dominance throughout, controlling the pace and atmosphere of the game, ultimately defeating the defending champions by 21 points. It was undoubtedly a strong win for them, perhaps their best this season so far. If you examine their stats or rewatch the game, it's evident they ran the show, committing only 6 turnovers during the entire match, despite facing one of the top defenses in the league. Additionally, one can't argue that Boston didn't field their main players, as all 5 Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, and Drew Holiday played, and would have continued had they not been trailing significantly. So, there's no excuse to be made, not even for the most ardent Laker critics. They must acknowledge this win. Jokes aside, the Lakers performed exceptionally well.
Because of the way we wanted to guard them, it also required a lot on ball in terms of staying in front and forcing off the dribble jumpers. And it required a lot from our shifts, and it required a lot from our low man to stay out of the blender. And, we started the game in some whites, some fronting in the post. We went away from that because twice they got us scrambling. And, outside of those couple plays early, I thought, we were just in front of the ball and made them score over the top of us. And that was what we wanted to do. And, it's a credit to my staff for sure as we talked through things over the last 24 hours. And it's a credit to our guys for executing at a high level.
Besides the low turnover rate, they shot impressively from three-point range, achieving a collective 42.9% and hitting 15 three-pointers out of 35 attempts, with Austin Reaves making 4 of them at 50%. Gabe Vincent also contributed off the bench, hitting 4 three-pointers himself, finishing with 12 points and a +22 rating, significantly boosting their performance on both ends. The same can be said for players like D'Angelo Russell coming off the bench, as he made 3 trays, although 1 was scored in garbage time. But a fantastic game for him against a very strong team too. Definitely a positive move for him, and hopefully, he returns to that impressive shooting he displayed earlier in the season. Now, we must discuss the key players, primarily LeBron and Anthony Davis, as it truly hinges on them. In this match, they exemplified why. During the opening quarter, LeBron exploded onto the scene with explosive dunks and aggressive drives, really putting in the effort, which led to their excellent start. He finished with 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists, committing only 2 turnovers, marking the first game in 5 outings with fewer than 3, so it was definitely a solid performance for him. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis scored 24 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, added 3 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks, delivering another impressive box score and shooting 50% from the field. We also can't overlook Austin Reaves and Max Christie, who both excelled at both ends of the court. Reaves had strong contributions, while Christie faced the tough task of defending Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown throughout, rising to the challenge with excellent defense and offensive contributions. While executing, they sank 2 three-pointers, both during the first quarter, significantly aiding in establishing and extending their early advantage. They maintained strong defensive play for the entire match. Austin Reaves, aside from the 4 three-pointers noted earlier, added 23 points, ranking second on the team behind Anthony Davis, along with 6 assists and a single turnover, showcasing remarkable efficiency and engagement throughout the contest. It's also important to highlight Dorian F. Smith. He may not have scored any points, but he remains a player whose contributions can greatly enhance your rotation even without putting up points. If you observed the game, you'd understand his impact. Regardless of who you focus on, everyone performed admirably, which reflects a solid team victory marked by effective offense, high shooting percentages from both the field and beyond the arc, and minimal turnovers, all while also playing commendable defense, especially considering it was against arguably the best team in the entire NBA. Given these points, it was an excellent overall team victory, and now I'll share what JJ had to say about it. JJ, Boston usually averages around 118 points per game, but tonight you held them under 100. What defensive insights did you notice consistently throughout the evening? I believe that was one of, if not our best, outings regarding our execution of the defensive strategy, without overreacting to Porzingis hitting a few turnaround jumpers. As I mentioned pre-game, one must be prepared to accept certain aspects because of how we intended to defend them, which required considerable effort on the ball to stay in front and force off the dribble shots while demanding much from our shifts and low man to avoid getting caught off guard. We began the game using some white formations and fronting in the post, but shifted away after they had us scrambling twice. Outside those few early plays, I felt we effectively stayed in front of the ball and compelled them to score over us, which was our goal. It's a credit to my staff for our discussions in the past 24 hours and to our players for executing at such a high standard. The decisiveness and aggressiveness that your team displayed on offense exemplify the connectivity and connectedness you've been sharing with us. What signs do you observe that indicate your team is playing in a connected manner, leading to this type of outcome? One clear measure is certainly potential assists, which is one way. I believe that, offensively, we continually emphasize a scoring mentality, focusing on various aspects repeatedly, some of which may not directly relate to making baskets. It involves our running patterns, maintaining proper spacing patiently, and executing screens effectively. When we screen, whether we roll, slip, or ghost, the aim isn't just to take a shot, but to initiate something new, which demands a lot of teamwork. Our most successful offensive moments are characterized by teamwork, where it's less about individual shots and more about producing good chances collectively. Finding that balance is crucial. While we must have individual aggressiveness, it's equally important to support our teammates by providing good spacing or creating opportunities, whether for on-ball or off-ball players. We performed exceptionally in the first half offensively, but honestly, we struggled a bit in the third quarter, and I was dissatisfied with our pace at the start of the half. It felt notably sluggish, but our defense maintained a high level of performance. We can maintain the cushion we had, JJ. When I asked you a couple of days ago about the trade deadline, you mentioned that part of the evaluation is determining what this team is now. What does a performance like that against a team like this indicate about the team's ceiling? Does it change as you evaluate? We're focused on ourselves and seeking consistency in this group. Regarding consistency, you pointed out the third quarter. There have been instances where you guys have struggled, causing problems that disrupt a lot of things. Did you notice a different level of resolve tonight? I did. Much of it was on the defensive side, and we didn't lack good looks. It's more about the process. We were 11 for 20 on threes in the first half. If we were 6 for 20, I would still have appreciated the process and how we performed. So, it's about returning to that, and I liked how the group that came in the last few minutes played. I thought our bench, overall, was fantastic. You know, Doe attempted 2 terrible threes. They were good attempts, but his shooting looked like he had never picked up a basketball before. However, defensively and on the boards, he was outstanding, and his communication was great. I mean, he truly elevates the team on that side significantly, and DK with his performance in the first half helped to widen our advantage. Gabe was incredible throughout the night, and every time Jackson entered, he was outstanding. So, those 4 players, along with the guys who wrapped up the game, showcased exceptional talent from our bench tonight.